So, this is interesting. This is a hidden map in the game files by EA Sports. It's a Snickers map, but it takes place in London, England. So, this is a hidden London map in Madden 26, which I find very interesting. So you can see right here, half the end zone is covered up by the little signs on both sides. So it looks like the end zone is only 5 yards long total. We do have these London-style buses, which is double-decker buses. Inside of them, not really much going on, just people inside standing there. We have cream soda, Mr. Frizz, all the way around. So, by the way, guys, welcome back to episode of my Noclipped series. We're Noclipped inside and outside stadiums in Madden 26. Today, we're taking a look at, as I said before, the London Stadium. So, we got best subs in town. So, we got a sub shop, car, truck thingy that we have not had in any other actual stadium. And this looks so freaking dope. We have the pedo van right there. If you're wondering why I call it the pedo van, it's because the front of it says ice cream in quotation marks, which makes no sense. Why would it be quotation marks ice cream? And in the back of it literally says, watch out for kids. Watch out for children. Which, yeah. I'm just saying, it says ice cream in quotation marks, and then it says watch out for kids, like children. That kind of just makes me think it's the pedo van, and that's all a cover-up. Anyway, so we got some gigantic Snickers things there. Balloons randomly. This is the only map in Madden that actually has balloons. We have the yard and little hangers right there, which is cool. We got tennis courts here with actual nets on them. So we saw tennis courts in other maps, but there was actually no actual nets. So this actually has nets, which is cool. We have random cars on both sides. And the question is, this is London, England, right? So the wheel should be on the opposite side. Hold up. It is. That's the attention to detail that when we complain about gameplay, EA Sports does a good job. Look at that. The cars have the wheel on the right side for what would be the correct area. That's a nice little factor. That's my EA Sports. That's my quarterback. Anyway, so it looks like we have this little area around here. I'm just going to kind of do a flyby here. Okay, and then we also have this area back here. There's a lot going on here. This might be one of the biggest maps we have seen in some time. Which, again, not a map we can actually utilize or access, which kind of sucks. But there's so much going on, it's like, bruh, what's going on here? Alright, so over here, we have ourselves a telephone little thing where you can actually make calls. In London, England, it's a little bit different in America. We used to have those in America, but things have changed. Okay, I think it's outside of the main area. It's just going to be blank and nothing really going on. But you can see right here, this is like how it is in every other Madden stadium, where it's just like these default buildings. So they really do love using these default buildings when they can. But for the most part, it looks like outside of like the main little area here, they just use default buildings. So they're like, okay, this is London. Here's all the London stuff. And then what people can't see, we're just going to go back to default buildings. Now, all these buildings in general, they don't have an inside. Actually, this one, no, it doesn't. Okay, that's the outside. Thought for a second that was the inside of the building. All the cars still have wheels, which I find very funny. So someone, while the game was going on, I guess, came through, just took all the wheels from the cars. That's, I don't know if that happens in London, but I guess that's a thing. I guess that's a factor going on. We have this gigantic building right here, which looks kind of like a school or like a college type campus building. Probably not, but kind of what it looks like. Got some buildings right here. as we go down this little area here. Takes us down over here, and then again, then we get into the default buildings. We'll look at that gigantic church thing in a second. But more just random roads that go into default buildings, it looks like. For the most part, at least. We got some stoops over here, which is cool. All the way down to some more red buildings. That's one thing, I guess. Like, again, I've never been to London, England, but apparently you guys love using bricks. You guys don't have any takeaway from bricks. Because there is a lot of bricks on all these buildings. Guess that's like a specialty. I kind of like these garage... Wait, these are not garage doors. What is this? It's a brick wall with like metal gates in the front. That's so weird. Alright, what is this? This is a church. Okay, I knew it was a church. Looks like a church from the outside. So it's just like a gigantic church. I say gigantic, but this pillar is kind of gigantic. That is kind of humongous. So for the most part, it looks like outside of, like, again, the main area. Okay, this map is actually so freaking big for no reason. So they put a lot of default buildings back here. Which I'm, again, like I've always said, I'm always surprised by this because they don't really need to do that. But they do it. Because it's EA Sports, and I never know what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. But, okay, so this is also not a custom sky. So this is, again, a stadium you can't access, but it isn't a custom, like, sky box and everything like that. Whoa. What in the bloody heck? That looks like a bloody roof. Okay. Concerning... a little bit, but guess that's kind of life. What's going on with this building? Got like the random yellow. And is this okay, so this is weirdly just not like this is all open. Okay. Interesting. So my takeaways for this video is like this is probably one of the most interestingly weird maps I've ever seen. And I looked at a horror map last night. So, you know, I guess that's that. We have a basketball court with actual basketball stuff. But we don't have a net on the basketball hoop, which kind of sucks. The tennis court has the nets, but they don't have nets on the basketball hoop. So that's kind of interesting. So for the most part, not a bad map. I don't know why they don't utilize this map, but I guess they just kind of just don't want to. Again, like I said, there's some maps that they just don't really utilize for some reason. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. See you guys next one. Peace.